Hello friends. If you've already watched this video before, you can skip it because I'm re-uploading it with better audio quality. Thank you for your support and for watching. Hello friends. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a trader's complete journey through trading psychology. This isn't just another random video where you hear one or two tips. No, this is a full guide that brings together the most important rules of trading psychology all in one place. You don't need to keep searching through different books, different videos, or different courses anymore. Because right here, I've included all the top rules that will truly help you understand yourself, master your emotions, and build the discipline every successful trader needs. Think of this video as your trading psychology blueprint, one that you can come back to again and again whenever you feel lost, emotional, or distracted. Every rule in this journey has been tested, lived, and learned the hard way. And by listening carefully, you'll save yourself years of unnecessary mistakes. So sit back, relax, and let's begin this journey into the heart of trading psychology. And if you find value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because I'll keep bringing you more powerful insights to help you grow as a trader and as a person. Rule number 1, never trade without a plan. When I first entered the world of trading, I thought success was all about spotting the right opportunities and acting quickly. And in the beginning, I actually did okay. Why? Because I had a plan. I had written down my entry rules, my risk management, even my psychology checklist. Every single trade I took had a reason behind it. And when I followed that plan, things worked. I wasn't rich overnight, but I was consistent. But then, temptation crept in. I started watching videos of traders flaunting cars, vacations, expensive watches. I saw highlight reels of overnight millionaires, and somewhere deep inside, I thought, maybe I'm being too strict on myself. Maybe if I take a few extra risks, I'll get there faster. That's when everything started falling apart. I began ignoring my rules. Instead of waiting for all my confluences, I'd jump in early. Instead of managing risk properly, I'd double down, thinking, this one trade will change everything. And do you know what happened? I lost. Not just once, but over and over again. Each time I stepped outside my plan, the market punished me. Here's the thing most beginners don't realize. Your trading plan isn't just a piece of paper. It's your shield. It's the one thing standing between you and the chaos of your emotions. Because when you're in a trade and your money is on the line, fear and greed will take over. Your brain will scream at you to make irrational decisions. Without a plan, you will listen to those emotions. With a plan, you have something stronger to follow. Think about it like this. Imagine a pilot flying a plane. Would you trust him if he decided to ignore the flight path and just wing it? Of course not. A trading plan is your flight path. It keeps you steady when turbulence hits. Without it, you crash. I've learned the hard way that trading without a plan is just gambling with a fancy name. You might get lucky once or twice, but luck runs out. Consistency only comes when you approach trading like a professional, and professionals never enter a trade without a clear reason, a clear risk, and a clear exit. So, what should your plan include? It doesn't have to be complicated. Start simple. Define your strategy. What setups do you trade? Define your risk. How much are you willing to lose per trade? Define your rules for entries and exits. When do you get in and when do you get out? Write it down. Keep it next to you when you trade. And most importantly, stick to it no matter what. Because here's the truth. One good plan, followed consistently, is far more powerful than chasing 10 different strategies with no discipline. When I look back at my journey, the biggest leaps in my growth didn't come from finding some secret indicator. They came from recommitting to my plan and refusing to break it. Every time I felt the urge to deviate, I reminded myself, the plan protects me. The plan keeps me profitable. So let me tell you this, if you're trading without a plan, sit down, create one, and promise yourself you'll follow it. It doesn't matter if you're trading stocks, Forex, or crypto. The rule is the same everywhere. A plan is your lifeline in this business. Ignore it, and the market will take everything from you. Respect it, and you'll finally give yourself a real chance at success. Rule number 2, size up after consistency, not after profit. If there's one lesson in trading that cost me more than I'd like to admit, it's this one. And I'll be completely honest with you, it still stings when I think about it. I once flipped a $10,000 account into $112,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? I felt unstoppable, like I had finally cracked the code. I thought, this is it. I've made it. I'm ready for the big leagues now. But here's the truth. The very next day, I lost it all. Every single dollar. Gone. Why did that happen? Because I made the mistake almost every trader makes at some point. I sized up too soon. Instead of waiting for proven consistency, I let one lucky run convince me I was ready to play bigger. My confidence turned into arrogance. I wasn't patient enough to realize that a few wins don't prove anything. See, here's the danger. You catch a winning streak, your account grows, and your ego whispers, now you can risk more, now you can go bigger. And in that moment, it feels justified. But what you don't realize is that you've just handed control over to your emotions. You're no longer trading your plan. You're trading your excitement, your greed, your need to prove yourself. And when emotions take over, it only takes one bad trade, one miscalculation, to wipe out weeks or even months of progress. The truth is, sizing up should never be about how much profit you've made. It should be about how consistent you are. Anyone can get lucky for a few days, even a few weeks. But can you stick to your plan for 3 months? 6 months? Can you manage risk the same way when you're losing as when you're winning? Can you keep your emotions in check no matter what the market throws at you? That's the real test. Think about it like going to the gym. You don't walk in on day one, lift a few weights, and then try to bench 300 pounds the next day. If you do, you'll get hurt. Growth in fitness is gradual. You build strength slowly through consistency, through repetition, through discipline. Trading works exactly the same way. You don't size up after one streak of wins. You size up after proving to yourself that you can trade well over time, that you can stay disciplined no matter what happens. Here's the mindset shift that changed everything for me. Profits are temporary, but habits are permanent. A big winning trade doesn't prove anything, but months of following your rules, whether you win or lose, proves that you're ready for the next step. So instead of saying, I made $5,000 this week, so now I can risk more, flip that thinking. Ask yourself, have I been consistent for months? Have I followed my plan every single day, regardless of the outcome? If the answer is yes, then maybe you're ready to size up a little. Not double your risk overnight, not gamble half your account, but gradually increase in a way that still feels safe and controlled. Trading isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. The goal isn't to make money fast, it's to stay in the game long enough to grow steadily. And that only happens if you protect your account, protect your mindset, and wait for true consistency before increasing your size. So let me give you this reminder. Don't let one good streak fool you. Don't let excitement push you into risking more than you should. Size up only when you've earned it, through discipline, patience, and months of consistent trading. That's how you build not just profits, but a career. Rule number 3, stick to one strategy. If I could go back and give my younger self one piece of advice, it would be this: stop chasing every shiny new strategy you see online. In the beginning, I thought the secret to trading success was finding that one magic strategy, the perfect setup that always worked. So I started hopping around. I'd watch one YouTuber talk about a new method, and I'd try it the next day. Then I'd see another trader with a completely different approach, and I'd jump to that. And you know what happened? I never got good at anything. This constant switching was one of the biggest killers of my progress. Every time a strategy didn't work for a day or two, I abandoned it, assuming it was broken. But the truth is, no strategy works perfectly every day. Every single one of them has losing trades, losing weeks, sometimes even losing months. That doesn't mean the strategy is useless. It just means the market goes through cycles. The real question isn't whether the strategy works. It's whether you have the discipline to stick with it long enough to actually see results. Think of it this way. Imagine learning to play the guitar. For the first few weeks, you sound terrible. Your fingers hurt, your timing is off, and every chord buzzes. Now imagine quitting after 2 weeks and picking up the piano instead. Then after 2 weeks of struggling on piano, you drop it and start drums. You'll never get good at anything. Why? Because you didn't give yourself enough time to grow through the hard part. Trading is no different. In the beginning, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to miss entries, exit too soon, risk too much, That's part of the learning curve. But if you constantly switch strategies, you're robbing yourself of the chance to improve. You'll stay stuck in that beginner phase forever. The key is to find one strategy that makes sense to you. It doesn't have to be the most popular one or the one that everyone else is using. It has to be one that fits you, your lifestyle, your schedule, your personality. Maybe you like fast-paced trading like scalping, or maybe you prefer a calmer approach like swing trading. Whatever it is, pick it, study it, and commit to it. Because here's the truth, you don't need 10 strategies to succeed. You need one. Just one that you understand deeply, one that you've practiced over and over until it feels natural. Mastery in trading doesn't come from having more tools. It comes from using fewer tools, but using them with precision. I'll tell you this from experience. When I finally stopped jumping from system to system, everything changed. At first, I still struggled. I still lost trades. But instead of quitting, I asked myself, why did I lose? Was it the strategy? Or was it me not following the rules? And almost every time, it was me. I wasn't being patient. I wasn't following my own rules. Once I started sticking to the process and ironing out my mistakes, I began to see progress. Slowly, consistently, I got better. So let me save you from wasting months or even years the way I did. Don't fall into the trap of strategy hopping. Pick one approach and grind it out. Yes, it will be frustrating at times. Yes, you'll want to give up and try something new. But if you push through that, if you stick to the same method long enough, you'll start to see how powerful consistency really is. Because in trading, being a master of one strategy will always beat being average at 10. Rule number 4, don't trade when you're not mentally ready. This one is not just a rule. It's a life lesson that came to me through a lot of pain. Let me tell you something that may sound simple, but it can save you from massive losses. Never trade when your mind isn't in the right place. I can't count how many times I've broken this rule myself. I've placed trades while traveling, even while sitting on a plane thousands of feet in the air. I told myself, it's fine, I'll just check the charts quickly and place a trade. And you know what happened? Every single time, I lost money. Not because the market was out to get me, but because my head wasn't in the game. Trading is not something you can do casually, like checking social media or browsing the news. It requires 100% of your focus, your clarity, and your discipline. If your mind is scattered, if your emotions are heavy, the market will expose it immediately. Think about it. Imagine you just had a breakup, or you're grieving a loss, or maybe you're simply stressed out with work and family. In that state, you're already carrying emotional weight. And when you sit down to trade, that baggage doesn't magically disappear. It shows up in your decisions. You hesitate when you should be decisive. You chase losses because you're trying to fix the pain inside. You take risks you normally wouldn't because you're not thinking clearly. And before you realize it, one emotional trade snowballs into an account-destroying disaster. I've been there. For a long time, I tried to trade my way out of emotional pain. I thought making money would fix how I felt inside. But it doesn't work like that. If anything, trading magnifies what's already inside you. If you're anxious, the market makes you more anxious. If you're angry, the market gives you more reasons to be angry. And when I wasn't dealing with my emotions in a healthy way, I fell into some very dark places. I struggled with depression, anxiety, and even tried to numb myself with alcohol and other habits that only made things worse. Here's the truth I finally had to face. You can't escape your emotions by trading. You can't hide from yourself. The market is like a mirror. It reflects your state of mind back at you with brutal honesty. And if you're unstable, if you're distracted, if you're carrying pain you haven't processed, the market will punish you for it. The turning point for me was learning how to sit with my emotions instead of running from them. To take time off when I needed it. To say, today, I'm not in the right place mentally. And that's okay. The market will still be here tomorrow. That discipline, to walk away when I'm not at my best, has saved me more money than any strategy ever could. Trading, at its core, is not just about charts and numbers. It's about self-awareness. It forces you to face your own weaknesses, your impulses, your emotions. And if you can't control yourself, you can't control your trading. So here's my advice. Never feel guilty for taking a break. If you're off, take the day off. If you're overwhelmed, rest. If life has thrown you something heavy, give yourself the space to process it. The market will always be there tomorrow. But your mental health, your peace of mind, that has to come first. Because at the end of the day, successful trading isn't just about strategies or setups. It's about you. And if you're not mentally ready, you're not ready to trade. Rule number 5, do not chase trades. Do not fall for FOMO. Let's be honest, you started trading because you wanted freedom. You wanted the ability to wake up when you choose, to work on your own terms, and to live life without limits. And that's a powerful dream. But here's the part most people don't tell you. Before you reach that stage of freedom, you're going to go through hard times. There's no shortcut around it. There's no fast track. The struggle, the frustration, the losses, the discipline, that's the very path that shapes you into someone who deserves the freedom you're chasing. And listen, I get it. I've been exactly where you are right now. Staring at charts, second-guessing myself, feeling that emotional pull of wanting to jump in. I know what it's like to feel frustrated, to think, why didn't I take that trade? Why am I always late? That voice inside your head telling you you're missing out. It's loud, it's convincing, and if you don't control it, it will control you. Here's the first piece of advice I want you to take seriously. Don't fight your emotions, and don't bury them. Process them. Feel the frustration, acknowledge the fear, breathe through it, and then let it go. Because at the end of the day, no one else is going to manage those emotions for you. It's your responsibility. And the better you get at managing them, the better trader you'll become. Now let's dive into the rule itself. Don't chase trades and don't fall for FOMO. It sounds simple, but this rule is where most traders fail. Here's how it usually happens. You set your daily bias. You do your analysis, and the market plays out exactly the way you thought it would. But here's the catch. You didn't get an entry that matched your rules. Maybe your setup didn't trigger. Maybe the price moved too fast. Suddenly, you feel that sinking feeling in your stomach. I was right about the market, but I didn't make any money. And then the little voice whispers, get in now, it's still moving. You're missing out. That's the trap. That's FOMO, fear of missing out. And if you listen to it, you'll end up forcing trades, abandoning your rules, and handing your hard-earned money right back to the market. But here's the mindset shift you need. If your daily bias played out, even if you didn't take the trade, you already won. Think about it. You proved to yourself that you can read the market correctly. You saw the move before it happened. That's progress. That's growth. You don't need to profit from every single move to be successful. What you need is consistency. Let me give you a real example from my own trading. Just last week, I only took one trade the entire week. That's it, just one. And that single trade was enough to bring me solid profits because it was a clean setup that fit my plan perfectly. Today, for example, I didn't see a valid setup at all, so I didn't take a trade. And guess what? That's perfectly fine. Because no trade will always be better than a forced, emotional trade. Think about the best traders in the world. Do you really think they're trading every single day? Absolutely not. They wait. They sit on their hands. They let setups come to them. And when the right moment arrives, they strike with precision and confidence. That's why they win. So why should you, as a beginner or even an intermediate trader, think you have to trade every day? You don't. Patience is part of the job. Discipline is the price you pay for freedom. Remember this, missing a trade is never the end of the world. There will always be another opportunity. But blowing your account because you chased a trade, that can set you back months, even years. So train yourself to be comfortable with not trading. Accept that waiting is part of the game. Because the truth is, restraint is just as powerful as execution. And sometimes the smartest trade you can make is no trade at all. Rule number 6, journal every trade. This rule right here was the turning point in my trading journey. You see, for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why I kept repeating the same mistakes. I thought I was learning, I thought I was improving, but deep down, I was just spinning in circles. I'd make a mistake, promise myself I wouldn't do it again, and then a week later, there I was, falling into the exact same trap. The real breakthrough came when I started journaling every single trade. And let me be clear, it wasn't easy at first. Writing things down felt tedious. I thought, why should I waste time journaling when I could be spending that time trading? But when I committed to it, everything started to change. Here's what journaling does. It shines a light on your blind spots. Without it, you don't even realize the small habits and patterns that are costing you money. But when you track every detail, what kind of trade you took, why you took it, what confluences lined up, what your emotions were at the time, and most importantly, what went right and what went wrong, you start to see the truth laid out in front of you. I'll give you an example. When I began journaling, I started to notice a pattern. Every time I skipped one specific step in my process, just one, I lost. But every time I waited patiently and followed that step, I won. That realization hit me like a brick wall. I thought to myself, how many times have I thrown away money because I ignored my own rules? And the moment I stopped repeating that mistake, my win rate jumped. Not a little, dramatically. That's the power of journaling. But here's what most traders get wrong. Journaling isn't just about keeping a record of trades like a diary. It's about building self-awareness. It forces you to hold yourself accountable. It shows you your strengths and weaknesses with brutal honesty. And most importantly, it gives you data. Your data that you can use to grow. Think about it like this. Imagine trying to improve at the gym without ever tracking your workouts. No idea what weights you lifted last week, no clue how many reps you did, no sense of progress. How could you expect to get stronger? Trading is the same. If you're not tracking what you're doing, you're not improving, you're just guessing. And let me tell you, the market punishes guesswork. Journaling also teaches you discipline. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it separates the serious traders from the casual ones. The traders who keep journals treat trading like a business. They review their performance, they make adjustments, they learn from their mistakes instead of repeating them. And that's why they grow. I'll be honest with you, when I first looked back at my journal, it was humbling. It was painful to see the same mistakes written down again and again. But it was also empowering, because for the first time, I knew exactly what I needed to fix. It gave me clarity. It gave me direction. And here's the beautiful thing. Over time, your journal becomes proof of your growth. You can flip back through the pages and literally see yourself evolving as a trader. You'll notice patterns that once destroyed you, and you'll smile knowing you've conquered them. That kind of progress, you can't measure it with profits alone. So here's my advice. Start today. It doesn't matter if it's a notebook, a spreadsheet, or even a trading journal app. Just start documenting. Write down the date, the setup, your reasoning, your emotions, the outcome, and what you learned. Over time, this habit will transform the way you trade. Because let's face it, if you're not tracking your progress, how can you ever expect to improve? The answer is, you can't. Journaling is your mirror. It's your coach. It's your accountability partner. And if you commit to it, I promise you, it will change the way you see the market and the way you see yourself. Rule number 7, how you live is how you trade. How you live your life is exactly how you'll trade. If you're not disciplined in your daily life, you won't suddenly become disciplined in front of the charts. If your habits are inconsistent, your trading results will reflect that inconsistency. The way you treat yourself outside of trading, the routines you follow, the standards you hold yourself to, the discipline you practice, that's exactly what shows up when you sit down to trade. Think about it for a moment. If you're reckless, emotional, and undisciplined in everyday life, if you can't keep promises to yourself, if you give in to every impulse, how can you realistically expect to be calm, focused, and consistent when the market opens? You can't. It doesn't work that way. The market won't magically fix your discipline. It won't give you patience. It simply reflects who you already are. Trading demands the same standards from you that life does. If you want to master the charts, you first have to master yourself. And here's the part that really separates trading from most other professions. In a 9-to-5 job, you can get away with being sloppy. You can show up late, have an off day, maybe give only 50%, and at the end of the week, you still get your paycheck. Trading isn't like that. In trading, you are the boss. You decide whether you get paid or not. Every decision matters. Every habit counts. There's no manager to hold you accountable, no safety net to catch you when you slack off. If you don't bring discipline, focus, and consistency, the market will punish you. So what's the real secret? It's consistency. Show up every single day. Even if all you can do is improve by 1%, that 1% compounds over time into massive growth. Some days, yes, you'll feel unstoppable. You'll make leaps of 300% or 400% in your learning and performance. But those breakthroughs don't just happen randomly. They only happen because you showed up every single day before them. You put in the work, you built the foundation, and then one day, it all clicks. Success in trading and in life doesn't happen overnight. It happens little by little, brick by brick, habit by habit. Until one day, you look back and realize just how far you've come. And here's the beautiful part. These 7 rules didn't just make me a better trader. They made me a better person. Once I learned to control my emotions, once I built the discipline to stick to my plan, once I stopped chasing shortcuts, everything in my life got clearer, simpler, more rewarding. Because trading is more than numbers on a screen. It's a reflection of who you are. If you live with discipline, focus, and consistency, your trading will reflect that. If you live with chaos, impatience, and recklessness, your trading will reflect that too. So, if there's one message I want you to take away from all of this, it's this. Master yourself, and you'll master trading. The charts are just a mirror. The real work, the hardest work, is not in analyzing markets, but in building yourself. And when you do that, when you bring the best version of yourself to the table, that's when everything changes. Rule number 8, detach from the outcome. Trading is not about winning every trade. It's about following your process with discipline, regardless of the outcome. But here's the problem most traders face. We get emotionally tied to results. When a trade wins, we feel amazing. When a trade loses, we feel like a failure. That roller coaster of emotions doesn't just drain you, it destroys your decision-making. Think about it. If your mood swings with every tick in the market, how can you possibly stay consistent? You'll end up chasing wins, avoiding losses, and breaking your own rules. I've been there. Early in my journey, I used to celebrate small wins like I had conquered the world, and I'd spiral into frustration on losing days. Over time, I realized I wasn't trading the market. I was trading my emotions. And that's a dangerous game. The truth is, one trade does not define you. One trade is meaningless in the bigger picture. What matters is the process, the rules you follow, the discipline you keep, and the ability to stick to your plan no matter what happens. Detaching from the outcome doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting a single win or loss control your identity as a trader. Imagine this. You flip a coin 100 times. You know statistically it will land around 50 heads and 50 tails. Now, if you flip it once and it lands on tails, do you panic? Do you question the laws of probability? No. You know the outcome of one flip doesn't matter. Trading works the same way. Your edge plays out over time, not in one trade. The secret is to shift your focus. Instead of asking, did I win or lose? Ask, did I follow my plan? Did I stick to my rules? Did I manage my risk properly? If the answer is yes, then that's a successful trade, even if it lost money, because in the long run, discipline pays. Random emotions do not. Let me share something personal. There were times when I'd break my rules and still win the trade. You know what happened? My brain thought, oh, I can get away with this. Maybe I don't need to follow the rules every time. And that was the trap. A few lucky wins gave me false confidence, and then one day, the market took it all back, plus more. That's when it hit me. The outcome is not the teacher, the process is. When you detach from the outcome, something powerful happens. You stop fearing losses. You stop overvaluing wins. You start treating trading like what it is, a probability game where consistency matters more than intensity. And this mindset frees you. It gives you peace of mind. You can take the trade, accept the result, and move on without letting it define your day or your self-worth. So here's the takeaway. Next time you place a trade, remind yourself you are not your P&L. A losing trade doesn't make you a bad trader, and a winning trade doesn't make you a genius. What makes you a real trader? Following your process and letting the numbers play out over time. Rule number 9, embrace uncertainty. One of the hardest truths to accept in trading is this. The market is uncertain, and it always will be. No matter how experienced you are, no matter how advanced your strategy is, you will never know with 100% certainty what the market will do next. And that's not a weakness. It's the very nature of trading. Here's where most traders struggle. We crave certainty. We want to be right. We want the market to reward us for our analysis. But in chasing that need for control, we often overanalyze, hesitate, or force trades that don't fit our rules. And when the market doesn't behave as we expect, frustration sets in. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. I used to spend hours staring at charts, adding more and more indicators, thinking if I just had one more signal, one more confirmation, I could be sure. But here's the truth. The more I searched for certainty, the more I confused myself. I wasn't building confidence, I was building dependence on things outside my control. Trading taught me a powerful life lesson. Certainty doesn't exist. What does exist is probability. Every trade you take is just a probability bet. That's why risk management is everything, because even the best setup in the world can fail. Once I embraced that, I felt free. I no longer needed to know what the market would do. I only needed to know how I would respond. Think of it like crossing the street. You can look both ways. You can wait for the light to turn green. You can reduce risk by being careful, but you can't eliminate risk entirely. There's always uncertainty. Yet you cross the street anyway because you've accepted the risk and taken precautions. Trading is the same. When you embrace uncertainty, you stop fighting the market. You stop expecting perfection. Instead, you work with probabilities and you manage what you can control: your risk, your mindset, your discipline. You begin to trade with peace, not with fear. I'll share something personal. Back when I resisted uncertainty, every losing trade felt like a personal attack. I thought, the market is against me. Maybe this strategy doesn't work. I doubted myself constantly. But once I accepted that losses are part of the game, that they don't mean I'm wrong, they just mean probability played out, I stopped attaching my self-worth to outcomes. I stopped fearing what I couldn't control. Here's the paradox. When you stop needing certainty, you actually become more certain. Not about the market, but about yourself. You know you can handle whatever comes your way. That kind of confidence is unshakable. So let me leave you with this. The sooner you stop fighting uncertainty and start embracing it, the sooner you'll find freedom in trading. The market is unpredictable, but your discipline doesn't have to be. Your mindset doesn't have to be. Accept uncertainty, and you'll discover that consistency and peace are still possible in a world of chaos. Rule number 10, master risk management. If there's one rule that can keep you in the game long enough to actually succeed, it's this one: master risk management. Because here's the truth, trading isn't just about making money, it's about protecting the money you already have. I'll be honest with you, I used to think risk management was boring. I wanted big wins, quick flips, the kind of trades that double your account overnight. And yes, a few times I actually pulled it off. But guess what? Every single time I gave it all back. Why? Because I was risking way too much. Here's the golden rule I ignored for years. Your first job as a trader is survival. If you blow up your account, you're out of the game. And once you're out, there's no learning, no growing, no second chances, just regret. I'll never forget one trade where I risked half my account because I was so sure about my analysis. I told myself, this is the one. If it works, I'll double my money. And for a few minutes, it actually looked like I was right. But then, the market reversed, and in less than an hour, half my account was gone. Just like that. It wasn't the market that beat me, it was my lack of risk discipline. So what changed? I made a commitment to myself. Never risk more than I can emotionally handle losing. For me, that meant keeping risk per trade small. So small that even if the trade went completely wrong, I could shrug it off and trade again tomorrow with a clear head. Think of it like being a professional athlete. A boxer doesn't step into the ring throwing wild punches, leaving himself wide open. He guards, he protects, he paces himself. Why? Because the goal isn't to win one round, it's to stay in the fight long enough to win the match. Trading is the exact same. And here's another truth. Risk management is not just about numbers, it's about emotions. If you're risking so much that you can't sleep at night, or you're glued to the screen sweating over every tick, then you're not really managing risk. You're gambling. Real risk management gives you peace of mind. It allows you to follow your plan without fear, because you know that even if you're wrong, you'll be fine. I want you to think about this. The best traders in the world aren't the ones with the fanciest strategies. They're the ones who know how to survive losing streaks. They're the ones who know that their edge will play out only if they're still around to see it. So, here's my advice. Define your risk per trade. Set a daily stop loss that protects your account. Don't increase your lot size just because you're feeling lucky. Treat your capital like oxygen, because without it, you can't breathe in this game. At the end of the day, trading is not about hitting home runs. It's about staying consistent, protecting your capital, and letting small wins compound into something powerful. The market will always test your discipline, but if you master risk management, you'll always have a seat at the table. Remember this, in trading, you don't control the outcome of a trade, but you do control how much you're willing to lose on it. That one choice makes all the difference between blowing up and building up. So make the choice to protect your capital, because once you master risk management, you don't just become a trader, you become a professional. Rule number 11, respect the power of patience. If there's one quality that separates traders who make it from those who don't, it's patience. Not intelligence, not luck, not even strategy. It's the ability to wait. I'll be real with you. Patience used to be my biggest weakness. I hated waiting. The market would open, and within minutes, I felt like I had to be in a trade. Sitting on my hands felt wrong, almost like I was wasting time. And because of that impatience, I forced setups that weren't there, and more often than not, I ended up losing. Here's the irony. The market doesn't reward activity, it rewards discipline. The best setups, the ones that feel almost effortless, only appear a handful of times. And if you jump into random trades out of boredom or FOMO, you'll miss the real opportunities when they finally arrive. Think of patience like fishing. You can't just throw your line in the water and expect a fish to bite instantly. Sometimes you wait minutes, sometimes hours. But when the right catch comes along, it's worth it. Trading works the same way. The market doesn't care about your schedule or your desire to do something. It rewards those who can wait for high-probability moments. I'll share something that completely shifted my mindset. One of my mentors told me, most traders fail not because they can't read the market, but because they can't sit still. That hit me hard. And when I started journaling my trades, I noticed a pattern. My worst trades came when I was impatient, when I jumped in early. My best trades? They all came after long stretches of waiting, when everything lined up perfectly. Patience isn't just about waiting for the right setup. It's also about giving your trade time to play out. I used to close positions too early, scared that the profit would disappear. But every time I did that, I was cutting my winners short. Once I learned to trust my plan and give the trade room to breathe, I started catching bigger moves. And here's the deeper truth. Patience is a reflection of your self-control. If you can't wait for the right moment in the market, chances are you struggle with waiting in other parts of life too. Trading magnifies that weakness, but it can also train you to grow stronger. So, how do you practice patience? Start with your rules. Define exactly what your perfect setup looks like, and promise yourself you won't touch that buy or sell button until every condition is met. When you feel the urge to force a trade, step away from the screen. Breathe. Remind yourself, the market will be here tomorrow. The best traders in the world don't trade every day. Some only trade once or twice a week, and yet they're profitable. Why? Because they respect the power of patience. They know that in this game, waiting is not weakness, it's the ultimate strength. So let me leave you with this. Your edge doesn't just come from your strategy, it comes from your ability to wait. Wait for your moment, wait for your setup, wait for your trade to unfold. Because in the end, patience doesn't cost you opportunities, it protects you from bad ones. Rule number 12, control greed before it controls you. Greed. It's one of the most dangerous emotions in trading, and honestly, it has ruined more accounts than bad strategies ever have. Greed whispers in your ear, just one more trade, just one more push. Keep going. Don't stop now. And if you're not careful, that voice will drag you straight into disaster. I've lived through this. I've had days where I hit my profit target in the first hour. I should have closed the laptop and enjoyed the rest of the day. But instead I thought, if I can make this much in 1 hour, imagine what I can make in 4 more. And do you know what happened? I gave it all back, sometimes even more than I started with. That wasn't the market beating me, it was my own greed. Here's the thing about greed, it's sneaky. It doesn't always show up as I want more money. Sometimes it shows up as overconfidence. You hit a big win and suddenly you feel untouchable. You start increasing your lot sizes, taking trades outside your plan, and chasing setups that aren't really there. Before you know it, that confidence turns into recklessness. Trading taught me something humbling. The market rewards discipline, not hunger. The moment you start trading out of greed, you've already lost, even if the chart hasn't moved yet. Think about it like food. Imagine eating an amazing meal. You're full, satisfied, content. But greed says, go ahead, eat more. You push past your limit, and suddenly what felt good turns into discomfort, even pain. Trading is the same. Once you've had your fill for the day, stop. If you keep forcing more, you'll only hurt yourself. The truth is, consistency beats intensity every time. You don't need to double your account in 1 week. You don't need to catch every single move. What you need is steady growth, brick by brick, trade by trade. Small, controlled wins build into something massive over time. But greed will always tempt you to shortcut that process. And shortcuts in trading always lead to dead ends. I remember one of the hardest lessons I ever learned. I had 3 winning days in a row, all carefully planned and executed. On the 4th day, I felt unstoppable. I ignored my rules, took double the risk, and in just a few hours, I wiped out the profits of all 3 days. That moment stung, but it taught me something I never forgot. One greedy decision can destroy weeks of discipline. So, how do you control greed? Set clear limits, both for profit and for loss. When you hit your daily goal, walk away. When you hit your daily stop loss, walk away. It sounds simple, but it's the hardest discipline you'll ever practice. And yet, it's also the one that will save your career. Trading isn't about how much you can make. It's about how much you can keep. Remember, the market will always be here tomorrow. There will always be another setup, another opportunity. But if you let greed take over, you may not have the account left to take it. So the next time you feel that voice pushing you to go just one more, pause. Breathe. Remind yourself, wealth is built through patience and control, not through greed. Master this, and you'll find peace not just in your trading, but in your life. Rule number 13, learn to love losing small. Now this rule might sound strange at first. How can anyone love losing? Isn't the whole point of trading to win? Yes, but here's the reality. Losing is part of the game. You can't escape it. Every trader loses. The difference between professionals and amateurs is simple. Professionals know how to lose small. Early in my journey, I hated losing. Every loss felt personal, like the market was attacking me. I'd get angry, emotional, and I'd immediately try to make that money back. And you can guess what happened. Those small losses turned into big ones. Sometimes even account-ending ones. It took me a long time to realize that losses aren't failures. They're feedback. They're the price you pay for playing the game. And as long as they're small and controlled, they're not dangerous. They're actually valuable. Think of it like running a business. A restaurant doesn't profit on every single customer. Some days, expenses are higher. Some dishes don't sell. But as long as the overall numbers work out, the business thrives. Trading works the same way. You don't have to win every trade. You just have to manage your losses so that your wins outpace them. Here's the truth. 1 small loss means nothing. 10 small losses still mean nothing if your system is built on probabilities. What destroys traders isn't the small loss, it's the big one. The one they didn't cut, the one they let spiral out of control. I'll share a personal moment. There was a time when I refused to accept a $200 loss. I thought, no, I'll hold it. The market has to turn around. But instead of turning, it kept running against me. That $200 loss became $2,000, then $5,000. By the time I finally closed the trade, I was devastated. And all I could think was, if I had just taken the small loss, I'd still be in the game. That was a painful but necessary lesson. Losing small also frees you emotionally. When you accept small losses as normal, they stop hurting so much. They don't shake your confidence. They don't push you into revenge trading. You shrug, move on, and wait for the next setup. That emotional calm is what allows you to stay consistent. So how do you practice this? Simple. Define your risk per trade and stick to it no matter what. If your stop loss is hit, accept it. Don't move it. Don't fight it. Take the loss, journal it, and learn from it. Remember, every small loss is just a step toward the bigger picture of profitability. The greatest traders in the world don't aim to avoid losses. They aim to avoid catastrophic ones. They survive by cutting losers quickly and letting winners run. That's the real secret. So here's what I want you to take away. Don't fear small losses. Respect them. Embrace them. Love them. Because each small loss you take is proof that you're disciplined enough to protect your capital, and that discipline is what will carry you to long-term success. Rule number 14, detach your identity from your trades. This is one of the hardest lessons for traders to truly understand. When you place a trade, it feels personal. If it wins, you feel smart, talented, even unstoppable. But if it loses, suddenly you feel stupid, like a failure, like you don't belong in this game. I know that feeling well. I used to tie my entire self-worth to the outcome of every single trade. And let me tell you, that's a dangerous way to live. Because when your identity is attached to your trades, your emotions take control. A losing trade becomes an attack on you. You start forcing setups, chasing wins, refusing to cut losers, all because you can't accept being wrong. And the sad truth is, that mindset destroys traders. Here's what changed everything for me. I realized that a trade is nothing more than an execution of probabilities. It's not about me, it's about the market. It's not about my value as a person, it's about following my plan. A win doesn't make me a genius, and a loss doesn't make me a failure. It's just data. It's feedback. It's part of the process. Think about it like this. When a doctor runs a medical test and the results come back negative, do they take it personally? No. They look at the data, adjust, and keep working. Trading is the same. Every trade is just a test of your system. Some tests confirm your approach, others show you what needs improvement. But none of them define who you are. I'll give you an example. Back when I was still struggling, I once had a huge losing streak, 6 losing trades in a row. Each one felt like a punch to the gut. I kept thinking, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm just a bad trader. But then I went back to my journal, and you know what I saw? Every single trade followed my plan. The setups were valid. The losses were just part of the probabilities. And soon enough, the winning streak came, and it balanced everything out. That experience taught me something powerful. My job is not to be right. My job is to execute my plan. The market decides the outcome, not me. And as long as I stick to my rules, I'm doing my job as a trader, win or lose. Here's the freedom that comes from detaching your identity. You stop fearing losses. You stop needing to be right all the time. You stop letting your self-worth rise and fall with your account balance. Instead, you trade with clarity, confidence, and discipline. And here's another truth. Trading is not who you are. It's what you do. You're more than a trader. You're a person with values, relationships, dreams, and purpose. Don't let a losing day make you feel less than you are. Don't let a winning day inflate your ego. Stay grounded. Stay focused on the bigger picture. The best traders don't celebrate wins too much, and they don't mourn losses too much either. They stay balanced. Why? Because they know that one trade means nothing. It's the series of trades executed with discipline that tells the real story. So here's the takeaway. Separate yourself from your trades. Wins don't make you special. Losses don't make you worthless. They're just results of probabilities. When you stop tying your identity to outcomes, you'll finally trade with peace, patience, and power. Rule number 15. Always keep the long game in mind. If there's one truth about trading that separates amateurs from professionals, it's this. Successful traders think in years, not in days. They understand that trading is a marathon, not a sprint. When I first started, I used to obsess over every single trade. One win made me feel like I was about to become a millionaire. One loss had me ready to quit. My emotions swung wildly up and down because I was too focused on the short term. And honestly, that constant roller coaster nearly broke me. Then one day, I heard a mentor say something that stuck with me. Trading is not about winning today. It's about still being in the game 10 years from now. That sentence changed my entire perspective. Think about it. Most people who jump into trading are gone within a year or two. Why? Because they want fast results? They over-leverage, they chase big wins, they blow up their accounts. They treat trading like a lottery ticket instead of a business. And businesses don't succeed overnight. They take time, patience, and consistent execution. So what does it mean to keep the long game in mind? First, it means protecting your capital. Your number one job as a trader is not to make money. It's to avoid losing all your money. Because as long as you have capital, you have a chance to grow. Blow up your account, and the game is over. Second, it means focusing on process over outcome. A single trade doesn't matter. A single day doesn't matter. What matters is the collection of hundreds of trades executed with discipline over months and years. That's where consistency is born. That's where success builds. Third, it means managing your expectations. You're not going to turn $1,000 into $1 million in 6 months. That fantasy is what traps beginners. Real growth is slow and steady. Think about compounding. A small, steady return, repeated over time, can grow into something extraordinary. But it only works if you survive long enough to let compounding do its magic. Let me share an example. I once tracked a trader who made modest gains, around 15% a year, nothing flashy, but he did it consistently for 15 years. Do you know what happened? His account grew over 800%. That's the power of time. He wasn't the fastest, but he lasted the longest. And in trading, longevity beats speed every single time. Here's the mindset shift you need. Stop asking, how much money can I make today? And start asking, what do I need to do today to still be profitable years from now? That shift changes everything. Your risk management, your patience, your discipline, even your emotional control. And here's the truth. Trading will test you. You will have bad days, bad weeks, maybe even bad months. But if you keep the long game in mind, those moments don't break you. They're just part of the journey. You see them as bumps in the road, not the end of the road. So, always remember, the goal is not quick riches. The goal is sustainable success. Protect your capital, trust your process, and give yourself time. Because if you think long-term, you'll outlast the noise, the hype, and the short-term chaos. Rule number 16, detach your self-worth from your trading results. One of the hardest lessons traders have to learn is this. You are not your P&L. Your value as a person doesn't rise when you win a trade, and it doesn't fall when you lose one. But let's be honest, in the beginning, it feels exactly like that. When I first started trading, every green day made me feel invincible, like I was on top of the world. And every red day, it crushed me. I questioned myself, doubted my abilities, and even wondered if I was smart enough to succeed. My emotions rose and fell with the charts, and I didn't even realize how dangerous that was. Here's the problem. When you tie your self-worth to your trading performance, you give the market control over your emotions, your confidence, even your identity. And the market doesn't care about you. It will humble you, it will test you, and it will hand you losses no matter how good you are. If you attach your identity to every outcome, you'll never find peace. The truth is, losses are not failures. They're part of the business. Even the best traders in the world take losses every week. The difference is, they don't take them personally. They see them as business expenses, like the cost of keeping the doors open. And that's the mindset you need to build. Think of it this way. If you owned a restaurant and one day you had to throw away spoiled ingredients, would you beat yourself up? Of course not. It's just part of running the business. Trading works the same way. A losing trade isn't proof that you're a bad trader. It's simply the cost of doing business. Once I realized this, everything changed. I stopped judging myself based on individual trades and started focusing on my process. Did I follow my rules? Did I stick to my plan? Did I manage my risk? If the answer was yes, then even a losing trade was a win in my book because I executed correctly. And you know what happened? I became more consistent. I stopped chasing wins to boost my ego. I stopped taking reckless trades to make myself feel better after a loss. I stopped riding the emotional roller coaster. My mindset shifted from I need to win to feel good to I need to trade well to succeed. Here's the key takeaway. Your worth as a person is not measured by your trading account. It's measured by how you show up, how disciplined you are, and how committed you are to growth. If you can detach your identity from your results, you'll finally find the emotional freedom to trade without fear, without greed, and without the crushing weight of judgment. So the next time you face a loss, remind yourself, it doesn't define you. It doesn't make you less. It's just one step in a much bigger journey. Trade the plan, manage the risk, and let go of the ego. Because when you stop tying your self-worth to your results, you unlock true consistency. Each rule may sound simple on its own, but together, they form the foundation of consistency, discipline, and emotional control, the true pillars of success in trading. Remember, The charts don't decide whether you win or lose. Your mindset does. The way you manage your emotions, your discipline, and your habits, that's what separates long-term winners from those who burn out. These rules are not just about trading. They're about life. The patience you build, the discipline you practice, and the self-awareness you gain will make you stronger both inside and outside the markets. So here's my advice. Don't just listen to these rules once and move on. Come back to this video again and again whenever you feel stuck or emotional. Let it remind you of the path you've committed to. Because success doesn't come overnight. It's built step by step, rule by rule, day by day. If you found this video valuable, make sure to give it a like, share it with other traders who need this guidance, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future lessons. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Stay disciplined, stay patient, and always remember, master yourself, and you'll master the market.